En aquel tiempo Jesús propuso otra parábola a la gente. El reino de los cielos se parece a un hombre que sembró buena semilla en su campo. Pero mientras la gente dormía, su enemigo fue y sembró cizaña en medio del trigo y se marchó. Cuando empezaba a verdear y se formaba en la espiga, apareció también la cizaña. Entonces fueron los criados a decirle al amo: Señor, ¿no sembraste buena semilla en tu campo? ¿De dónde sale la cizaña? Él les dijo: un enemigo lo ha hecho. Los criados le preguntaron: ¿quieres que vayamos a arrancarla? Pero él les respondió: no, que al arrancar la cizaña podrías arrancar también el trigo. Dejadnos crecer juntos hasta la siega. Y cuando llegue la siega, diré a los segadores: arrancad primero la cizaña y atadla en gavillas para quemarla, y el trigo almacenadlo en mi granero. Jesus proposed another parable to the crowd, saying, the kingdom of heaven may be likened to a man who sowed good seed in his field. While everyone was asleep, his enemy came and sowed weeds all through the wheat and then went off. When the crop grew and bore fruit, the weeds appeared as well. The slaves of the householder came to him and said, Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? Where have the weeds come from? He answered, an enemy has done this. The slave said to him, do you want us to go and pull them up? He replied, no. If you pull up the weeds, you might uproot the wheat along with them. Let them grow together until harvest, and at harvest time I will say to the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them in bundles for burning, but gather the wheat into my barn. He proposed another parable to them. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that a person took and sowed in a field. It is the smallest of all the seeds, yet when full grown, it is the largest of plants. It becomes a large bush, and the birds of the sky come and dwell in its branches. He spoke to them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed with 3 measures of wheat flour until the whole batch was leavened. All these things Jesus spoke to the crowds in parables. He spoke to them only in parables to fulfill what had been said from the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will announce what has lain hidden from the foundation of the world. Then, dismissing the crowds, he went into the house. His disciples approached him and said, explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field. He said in reply, he who sows good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed, the children of the kingdom. The weeds are the children of the evil one. And the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. Just as weeds are collected and burned up with fire, so will it be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will collect out of his kingdom all who cause others to sin and all evildoers. They will throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of heaven. Whoever has ears ought to hear. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
In this parable that Jesus tells, he describes, what does he describe? He describes a situation that is a real mess. There's a field, in which there are weeds and wheat all mixed up together. And we look out on the world, we look at our church, we look into our own hearts, and we see this poured out. We see weeds and wheat all mixed together, and you would think that by now we might be done being surprised by that, but we're not. We always seem to be shocked to the core when we get to Holy Week and we discover again that there was a Judas in the midst of them. In the midst of the ones chosen by the Lord, there was a betrayer. And then we look around the world today and we see other Judases who seem to be surprised by it. We look into our own hearts, and sometimes we are scandalized by ourselves. How is it that I could be like that? It's important to look at this parable that Jesus invents. It says he spoke to them only in parables. There were things that he wanted to say that he couldn't say in any other way, he felt, than in parables. And he explains what each parts of the parable mean. And it's important to think about for a second the fact that what he's describing is his own creation. The one who owns this field, the one whose field this is God. Okay? So God, the creator of all things, the one who is infinite, the one who has no boundaries, the one who has no beginning, no end, whose power without limit, whose glory without limit, whose beauty without limit, love without any beginning or end. That one looks out on the situation, the thing that he's created, and he sees a real big mess. They come to him, they say, there's weeds and there's wheat all mixed together. They want us to do something about it. What does he say? He says, no, wait. Why? Because otherwise you might damage the wheat. Why? Because otherwise, what is he saying? Otherwise there would be a possibility for even the weeds being converted into wheat. See? What this parable shows above all else is another infinite quality of God, which is his patience. See? And so he looks out on this situation, and any of us, having made this, drawn this picture, or sculpted this sculpture, written this writing, we would just tear it up and say it's turned into a big mess. But he doesn't do that. He says, wait. His patience is his love, and his love is his patience. And it's hard for us to distinguish between the two. But what's really important is that we spend time looking it in the face. Okay? Every day we have to pay attention to the patience that he has for the world, for the Judases out there in the world, in our church, and within us. And it's going to begin to change us if we do it. If we look at the patience of God, if we look at this kind of love of God, this kind of heart that's all aflame with love, it's going to change us, and it's going to make us patient too. It's going to make us capable of looking at those around us who are the weeds and longing for their eternal destiny to come to fruition. Do I do that? Do you do that? When you look at the one next to you who is your stumbling block, when you look at the one from your past, who who is your stumbling block? With what kind of patience do you see him or her? With God's love? With God's patience that says, I long for the eternal destiny of this one to come to fruition. It's a tall order. There's someone giggling back there behind me. That's the right response. Who was it? Of course it was John. That's the correct response. It's ridiculous. But it's God's ridiculousness. See, this is the ground of reality. This is the foundation of reality. This isn't me making this up. This is the gospel. I would never think of that. It's something that's being revealed to us. It's something that's being unlocked to us. This is what God is revealing to us. He's unfolding before our eyes himself. He says, this is what I am. And that's why we need the Spirit. The second reading, the Spirit himself intercedes within us and teaches us how to pray, because we do not know the words, we do not know how to pray, we do not understand, we cannot comprehend, we can't wrap our minds around this situation, this world out there, this world in our church, this world in our hearts. We can't grasp these things, but what we can do is lay down everything before God and say, I believe you, I trust you, I see what you look like, who you revealed yourself to be. And I submit my heart to that one more time, and we forget. And we draw back, and we fail to remember, to hold in our hearts, that this is the reality of who God is, that this is who He is, always was, and always will be. And so we have to start over a lot. Every day. How many times? As many times as it takes. Maybe it will be 100 times today. Maybe it will be 100 times this hour. But I have to start over again. And can I do that? Can I have the patience with myself that God has with me? To say it's not about me. It's about looking one more time at what you are, who you are, what you look like. And I know what you look like because you've revealed it to me. In your holy word, in your parables. So God is painting a picture with our lives. See, God has designed something. This is His field. This is His workshop. This is whatever metaphor you want to use. He's created it. He's designed it. He's wanted it for whatever reason. From all eternity, this is what He's wanted, and He's bringing it about. And we're not bringing it about. Cooperate. We want to try to cooperate. And how do we cooperate? By discovering who He is. And cooperating with that reality, and not the reality that we want to create, or we want to control, or we want to design, or we want to come up with on our own, or by our own power, or by our own ingenuity. Because it's not going to get us anywhere. So we look into the face of this infinitely patient God, this merciful God who says, I have the solutions that you don't have. He's hanging on the cross for a reason, because we need it. Because that's infinitely patient love. Look nowhere else. Look nowhere else to discover what it means to be transformed into the person that you want to be. Into the person that you've always wanted to be. That sometimes you've not really understood, and maybe still don't. So when a great artist, if you ever see a great piece of art, if you've ever had the chance to go to see some amazing piece of art that will stand the test of time, okay? Not something that will last today and be gone tomorrow. What you discover is that the more you peer into it, the more that's revealed. more there than first meets the eye. Why? Because there's something that the sculptor or the painter or the artist is able to put into the piece of art that's apparent for everyone to see. But there's always a little secret that he or she keeps in his heart. There's always some other deeper meaning that's not apparent at first, but it's the meaning that was intended in the depths of the heart of the artist. As you go forward in life, as you go forward with your life, your real life, your concrete life, day-to-day, real stuff, not some imaginary world out there, but what your life is really like today. Growing and discovering the patience that God has for you and the why. He wants to reveal to you that when He created you, a masterpiece of His, that there were still parts of you to be revealed later. That you're still being created. Or you can be if you want to allow Him to do it. He's calling right now. To begin to reveal something of this secret. Hark. Is it for me? So it means a lot of patience. It means being patient with being patient. It means starting over a lot. It means laughing at yourself sometimes because it's funny. Thank you, John. You can't ever figure that out. This is the reason for hope. This is the meaning of real hope. It's rooted in His face, in the light of His face, in the identity of Him. He reveals what He looks like. And it's for us to discover, and discover, and discover it. The more you do, the more you'll discover what you are too. Who He's created you to be. In fact, who He is right now, creating you to be, longing with an infinite patience for you to become. Sometimes, I'll end with this, a little tip on prayer. Sometimes we need to bring our stuff to God. I think we know that. It's not always easy to do, and we need to do it. Sometimes we need to show up in prayer and get it all out. And give it over, and surrender it, and to bring out everything that's going on, and to lay it down before Him. We have to learn how to do that. But there's another way to pray too that's also important. Sometimes we need to go before God and not bring anything. Not bring any plans. Not bring any projects. Not bring any design on our lives or this moment of prayer. Sometimes we should pray. Someone once wrote, from the place of Adam. Let me explain. Not Adam after the fall. Not Adam before the fall. Well, what's that? Adam, in the moment of being brought into being by God. Sometimes we need to pray from a place of complete disponibility is the word. Availability, complete readiness, total, holding nothing in front of our readiness. Are being disposed to His creative power. Sometimes we can prevent Him from bringing about the fullness of what He has in store for us by our projects, by our plans, even the healing that we think that we need right now. And that prevents Him from realizing the rest of the picture, completing the piece of artwork that He's designed. But He's patient, and He waits, and He doesn't wait idly, and He doesn't wait without a heart that's all afire, without deep desire, without intense desire for you to be brought into the fullness of what He's made you for. On this day, let's ask Him for the grace to surrender, to let go, to give Him permission to be all creative in us.